Well, I guess we're going to find out today, aren't we, about where we are on inflation and so forth. But it just seems to me that everything's settled down. They can come out with whatever number they want, but things seem to be fairly settled. Inflation's been, I think, at 2.4%. Some say it could go up to 2.8%. I don't know if that's true or not. They usually get that wrong. But somebody that gets it right, Nick Hopwood, certified financial planner with over 25 years experience, the founder and president at Peak Wealth Management, helping clients retire with peak results. Nick, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate the invite.
All right, so let's take a look at what's on the list today. Number one, the big beautiful bill. What does it mean for me as a taxpayer? What does it mean for the average person paying taxes, or anybody for that matter?
Well, the good news is that we're not having tax increases, and we'll be having continued cuts, and they'll be permanent cuts. So the top rate is 37%, and it will not be going to 39.6%, and the 37% does not sunset. If you're in the 12%, that will continue, and it will not sunset. It's a permanent rate. So for most people, they won't notice much of a difference. It'll just be the avoidance of a tax hike. But also, we do have an increased standard deduction. We have, for seniors over 65, a larger 6K standard deduction in addition. So that's kind of the equivalent of the no tax on Social Security. That's the best they could do there. If you have tips and overtime, you have some benefits. If you have a baby this year, you have the Trump account. And if you have a large estate over 15 million, that will now be passing to your heirs tax-free. So that's a big news for the wealthy as well.
Well, so it's good for everybody. I see that last quarter, there's a lot of nervousness. April, they were out there trumpeting the worst April since 1932 or some damn thing. It didn't turn out that way, but we had right after Liberation Day, which was, I think, the 2nd of April, a lot of volatility on the markets. But the market's now not too volatile, 44,500 basically, 20,600 on the NASDAQ, 6268 on S&P. I mean, those look pretty good. I guess that my question is, what happened? A lot of volatility in 401ks, a lot of movement, people moving to safe havens and so forth. You say don't do that necessarily. Trust your plan. Whatever your plan is, trust it, right?
That's right. And Yahoo Finance reports in the second quarter, the time that you're talking about, April, mostly April was the time when the market was getting punished. We had more activity inside the 401k plans than we had in the last 5 years. So go back to COVID, right? People panicking during that time. They did the same thing now. And sadly, what the results show is that most people were moving from their diversified target date funds into money markets and fixed income. And so as we know now, sitting here in July, the market has recovered 30% from those lows, whereas money markets and fixed income have returned 0 since then. And so it's just one more example of why it makes sense not to panic when the markets are going down.
Yeah, don't panic. I saw this thing from Schwab. I got a thing in the mail the other day from Schwab about a class action lawsuit involving Schwab investors. Not sure what that's about. It popped in the mailbox. It's one of those deals where people get like $5. You're part of the class, but there's a bazillion of you. You get $5. But the Modern Wealth Survey, apparently people think it's $2.3 million to be quote unquote wealthy. I don't think if you ask people with a net worth of $2.3 million that they consider themselves to be wealthy, but apparently that's what the average person thinks out there. Your thoughts? Yeah,
it's very subjective, right? In fact, last year the number was 2.5 million. This year it's 2.3 million. And so, you got to factor in, do they have a pension? What does the Social Security look like? Are we talking about home equity? Is it just the portfolio? There's a lot of questions that I have, but I find it interesting that the number is 2.3. And there's another question that Schwab asks, how much money do you need to feel comfortable? And that number is 839,000. So go figure. But if I have 2.3 million, do I feel wealthy? Do I feel rich? Well, Steve, if you
so hold on, back up. What was the 839,000? Say that again.
That's the amount to feel comfortable.
The $839,000 in what, net worth, or in the bank, or what is that?
839,000 net worth to feel comfortable.
Huh. Interesting. All right. And 2.3 million to feel wealthy. I guess seems kind of random to me, but okay, I can live with that. But if you're not wealthy, if you don't have $800,000 or 2.3 million, or if you don't have much of anything, you look to Social Security. Well, red flag there. Apparently, will not be able to pay out full benefits beginning 2034, which is what we keep warning about in this program. Spending levels. You can't keep up with it. It's unsustainable. And here we are looking at the numbers telling us it's unsustainable, Nick.
Yeah, and the news here is they've pulled that estimate forward 1 year. And the only really big change was that certain teachers, certain firefighters, and police officers in states that were not eligible for Social Security, now they will be, which I think levels the playing field in a good way. But now they're pulling forward the Social Security solvency date 1 year. So mark my words, I don't know when this will happen, but the solution will be higher taxes, delayed start date, or reduced benefits, or a combination of all three. Mark my words, that's.
I'm sure it's all three. It has to be. Look, it took them less than 100 years to bankrupt Social Security. It was kind of a Ponzi scheme to begin with, in my estimation. But there you go. If you want to know more about Nick or get a second opinion, and you want to follow a plan, well, you need to make one first. You can make one with Nick at peakwm.com, peakwm.com with Nick Hopwood. Because he comes here, he's common sense. He's not a run and gun kind of guy. We were talking a little bit about crypto and so forth. Man, it's on fire, but I don't own much. You don't own much. Never did trust it. But if we had put it all in, Nick, if we had bought coins at $1,000, we'd be happy now, wouldn't we?
You could have doubled your money since September.
Yeah, I heard that from somebody. I heard that. Yeah, double your money since September. Nick Hopwood, peakwm.com. Find out more with Nick. Nick, as always, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Steve.
Really appreciate it. He's just a breath of fresh air, isn't he? We'll take a break and be back. It's the Steve Gruber Show.